From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, especially if you're listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on the news wire Captain Shirk puts together. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. William Lawrence is back. He is a scientist investigating new methods of communicating with extraterrestrial intelligence, developing a new method of spectroscopy. I can't even say that word. Spectroscopy? Spectroscopy? Spectroscopy. There it is. Thank you for rescuing me, Will. He has discovered extraterrestrial messages in the visible light frequency of our star, the sun. In 2015, while creating an experiment to communicate with ghosts, he discovered that not only ghosts were able to become visible, but other life forms as well. He's got a great website. You definitely want to check it on out. I do. I got it saved. Bentlights.com. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, boy, are we starting off well here tonight. Bottom of hour number 3, we're going to bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. William, good to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. It's been a couple of years, but it's always a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
I appreciate you having me back, and we can literally start at the beginning. And what people don't understand is what we're discussing is a new type of communication. We're discussing a new type of technology. And this technology relies on the visible light spectrum. So everyone that's listening to your show tonight is listening via radio waves. And when I say radio waves, what everyone is listening to is the radio. And when that frequency goes down, it goes down to a local tower. And that tower's frequency runs to fiber optics. But what I discovered is different, and what I would like people to know is the fact that we have actually made contact with another civilization in our universe, and that contact is being ignored. So not only have I made contact, but the information that I've received is being ignored, and I have literally pinpointed our location to other species in our universe. I don't know if they're hostile. I don't know if they come in peace, but I can tell you this. I have gave them our location, and they know that we are here and we are listening to them.
Awesome. William, let's rewind a little bit here so people can get to know you a little bit. How did you come across this in 2015?
In 2015, I developed an experiment, and the experiment was based from a 2010 experiment. And what happened was I had sunlight coming through a window. So I decided to take pictures on a digital camera of a rainbow. So I wanted to create a rainbow, and I'm really big into photography. So I created a rainbow, and I took a digital image of the rainbow. But when I zoomed into the image of the rainbow, I seen things that shouldn't be there. There were objects that were forming. And in doing so, I realized that there were something inside the spectrum of the rainbow that that shouldn't be there. And then in doing so, 5 years later, I created an experiment. And what I did, I used water and I used metal, and I refracted the light, and I projected it to metal. And in doing so, I projected images that should not exist. And by doing so, I found images of human souls, images of reptiles, and many different images of objects and beings and people. So when it comes down to it, I know it sounds crazy. Like, wow, okay, so you found information on light. But here's the thing. The visible light spectrum can send over 1,000 gigabytes a second. The radio spectrum can only send around 100 to 850 megabytes a second. So when we're dealing with the visible light spectrum, and that's where I found the information. So the information was inside the spectrum. And majority of all of our communication relies on radio spectrum. Now I'm looking in the visible light spectrum. So the radio spectrum can run at megabytes. The visible light spectrum can run at gigabytes. And that is where we are dealing with the controversy, because I have reached out to scientists. I've said, hello, I've found information in light. And they look at me like I'm crazy. Dave, I hope I still got you here. But
you got me.
They're still sending information in radio waves. And radio waves is sending information at literally megabytes. And I'm finding information in the visible light spectrum. And this is where it gets crazy. In 1979, the U.S. Navy patented information in sunlight where they were using retroreflectors in space, and they were using satellites, and they were literally taking digital information and they were putting that into the light and they were projecting it down. So I found information, and the information I found is in the visible light spectrum. However, majority, 95% of all public broadcasts is run through radio broadcasts. However, there is a new broadcast frequency that relies on the visible light spectrum that can send over 1,000 gigabytes a second. And it's not in use because it's only in use by the military and the government. The government is the only people that are able to use this frequency. And the frequency that I discovered, there's other civilizations using that frequency, which has brought me to only one conclusion, is that the government knows that other civilizations are trying to communicate with us, but they're keeping us in the dark.
Now, had you had extraterrestrial experiences before this experiment?
Not at all. And that's, I mean, if we were to go back in time, when I first made this discovery, I made it in 2010 in California. And the only thing I was trying to do was make a rainbow. I was only trying to create a rainbow and take a picture of it. But in doing so, I had a digital camera. And I took a picture with a digital camera. And when I zoomed in, I seen things that shouldn't be there. So, 4 years... In the very beginning, this was in 2010 in Palmdale, California. I had a digital camera. I had sunlight coming through my window, and I was projecting it on a black steel refrigerator, and I took digital photocopies. And with the digital camera, I seen an Indian crossing a creek, and there was like a little cabin. And then on to the left of the cabin, there was like 3 hanging poles, and there was 3 men on horseback. So you had an Indian who did not have a shirt on, and he was crossing the creek to a little like cabin house. And then to the left, there was 3 white men on horseback. That's all I remember. And then from there was a soldier who had a bazooka on his back. And then from there was like this alien being. She was female. She looked more reptile, but that's all I know. And then we'll skip on. And then I seen a temple. And there was a temple. And then there was another woman who was looking towards a gate. And then when she looked towards the gate, she saw a brick formation on the left side and the right side, and there was a chain link gate, and there was trees in the back. And then from there was like an 18th century temple. Now all of these things were seen in one image of light, color. It was just a rainbow. So I zoomed in, I seen all of these things. So then 3 or 4 years later, I decided to create the experiment again. And that's when I started getting evidence. And I collected evidence from 2015 to 2020.
Now, if you hadn't really been studying or looking into the whole aspect of extraterrestrial phenomena, how did you know what you were looking at?
Honestly, I had no idea it was connected to extraterrestrial. And before I even made the discovery, I assumed it was just spiritual. So in the beginning, I thought it was just I was connecting to like a spiritual realm. And I seen things that I shouldn't have seen, but I seen things that shouldn't be there. And remember, I only took water and light, sunlight, and I zoomed into the color of that light projected to metal. And when zooming in, I seen things that shouldn't be there. I seen objects start forming. And by doing so, I realized this is not normal. So I created an experiment. And then in doing so, I created an experiment years later, and I started finding things similar to what I found then. However, they were in more detail. And like you're saying, the question is this. The visible light spectrum is similar to the radio. And this is where we have a problem, all right? Because not many people understand this. The visible light spectrum is similar to radio waves. When you send a signal out, you're sending it via radio waves to a tower. Now, the visible light spectrum is similar to that. However, the visible light spectrum can hold over 1,000 gigabytes. So when you're sending out radio waves, you're sending 100 megabytes a second. But when you're dealing with the visible light spectrum, you can send over 1,000 gigabytes a second. That's like downloading a full-length movie every second.
Interesting. So since you started having these encounters and these noticing, have you noticed extraterrestrials around you a lot more?
In the beginning, they were around me 24/7. So every day they would visit me. And I do not talk about the personal experiences that I've had with them. However, there has been many witnesses with me who has experienced when they came to visit me. But the main thing is this, is what I discovered is the frequency that they're using to communicate, and that's most important. And when finding the frequency, and understanding, hey, they're able to send us messages. My main goal was to communicate the results to my experiment. However, every single person that I reached out to in the disclosure community completely turned their back on me. And that's where I couldn't understand. Like, I dealt with SETI Institute, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and I sent them emails back in 2015. And in 2016, they started using my methods with their laser SETI results. And what they developed was an experiment that used the prism to bend light, exactly what I do. And they started using my method. And I spoke with Seth Shostak of SETI Institute 9 months before they started using my methods. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, it's really rough. I mean, I need people to understand this. I'm coming to the public, and I am telling you, I have made contact. I have made contact with another civilization. And there are government institutions who have been involved with me since 2015. And they are trying to slow me down. I can't be more serious about this. If people don't understand the information that I'm sending them, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get to where I need to get to. And I've had death threats sent to me from Turkey back in 2016 that were sent to me from St. Petersburg, Russia. They intercepted death threats from Turkey, and they sent them to me saying, hey, these people are trying to kill you because of what you know. And for 3 years, I kept my identity secret. And I am here now pleading to people. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about religion. We are talking about science. And the fact of the matter is, I've made contact and nobody is listening, and I don't know what to do.
William, in regards to your personal contact, you said you're a little shy to discuss what happened to you. How come you don't want to discuss? I mean, we have a lot of people who come on this show and explain what has happened to them. Why are you so quiet about it?
I have discussed many things. I mean, there's not really, it's really simple. I mean, I made a simple discovery. What I discovered was sunlight projected through water, and then through that water through a concave lens, and then projected to steel. And then from steel, you take digital photographs, and from that, you're able to read information. And scientists 11 hours ago just realized that when light impacts metal, it reacts from particle form to waveform, and then it transitions. And what they're able to find is that at atom levels, we're talking beyond quantum. We're talking at atom levels, they're able to manipulate that. But what I'm discussing is different. And what I'm discussing is macroscopic. Macroscopic is the definition. And what that means is you're able to see it with your naked eye. So microscopic, you got to use a microscope. Macroscopic, you can see it with your naked eye. And what I'm discussing is quantum information. And I'm going to tell you the truth. What I have discovered will rewrite the laws of physics. However, the scientists that are involved will not look into it because of the fact that they know that they were wrong. And it was so simple that they overlooked it.
Okay, but my question to you, without being polite here, was about your personal experiences. Have you had face-to-face encounter with aliens? Because, there seems some hesitancy in there that you are not wanting to talk about that subject.
You're right. And the problem with that is because I only discuss what I have physical evidence of. And when I made the discovery in 2015, 2 weeks later, I was visited. And they started visiting me every week. So when I first made the discovery of what I found, so I'm looking into the visible light spectrum. I found this information. I seen these unexplained entities appearing. And then 2 weeks later, I'm in my backyard and they started showing up in these giant ships. The first ship was like a giant ball. It was orange, but it was transparent, so you could see right through it. And then inside, you could see a black substance, and it was just swirling inside. And it came very close. And not only did I have that experience, but I also had many experiences with people with me who was able to witness when I was driving someone home one night. There was this bright white light that just came over the top of our car. It was Halloween, 2017, I think. And this white light just came over the top of our car. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then it came in the front of the car, and then it just went right into the ground. And I looked over and I said, "Did you see what I seen?" And he said, "I don't know what I seen." And I was like, "I don't know either." So for over 2 years, when I first made the discovery, they just kept visiting me. And I honestly thought, like, I'm being visited daily, I'm being visited weekly. I honestly thought that people would understand, what I'm going through. And not only was I going through this situation that I've never been through, because I was never into extraterrestrials.
Right.
But listen to this. I was being hacked by China. I was being hacked by Russia in the same week. And all of this is public because everything that I went through, I put on my Facebook page. So I got hacked by China and Russia in the same week. And then 2 weeks later, Russia sent me a message.
Hold that thought, because I want to know what Russia said in that message. Okay, and we got to go to break right here at the bottom of the hour. William Lawrence, Bent Light. Bentlights.com is his website. More on getting hacked by the Russians coming up on Spaced Out Radio next.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for each and every one of you joining us tonight. Appreciate your time. Hey, I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, do us a favor. Check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. We're bringing in Bentlight.com, William Lawrence tonight. We're talking about, right before the break, if you hadn't missed it, that the Chinese and the Russians were hacking into his computer and his GPS and everything, trying to track him down. This is scary stuff when this happens, William. I don't know how you were able to put up with that, man.
And it was pretty crazy at the time, and I will tell you, I got over it. And what happened was I got a message sent from St. Petersburg, Russia, and it was written in Turkish. And when I transposed it, it said that there was a contract for me to be murdered by September of 2016. And I literally went public with this information as soon as I got handed it by the St. Petersburg, Russia affiliates. And I put it on my Facebook page, Bent Light. And I even put the IP address and trace the actual building it came from. And the building was crazy because the building was like a 5-story building in the middle of Russia. I don't know. But there was only 2 cars there, and they were parked right in front of the front door. It was a really large building, and they had like these satellites on top of the building, and I was able to track this down from their IP address. But when I realized after tracing their IP address that they were sending me information that they found that was crucial to my life, and what they found was these Turkish religious extremists were going to take me out because of the fact of what I discovered. And this was back when I first made the discovery, so I kept my identity secret for 3 years. But after 3 years, I just came normal. I reported the information to the FBI, and every single phone that I owned for 3 years, the GPS would never be able to tell me where I was at. Like sometimes it would say I was in Texas, other times it would say I was in Florida, but never did it ever say where I was at. So I could never use my GPS. So I always had to buy an actual Garmin, like, navigator. And for many years, I had to use a regular GPS that you buy from the store because my phone GPS would never work. And I went through like 4 phones and they never worked because I feel that they were trying to murder me because of the information that I found. But as for now, no one seems to care, so I don't know what to do next.
Did the Turks know where you lived?
They said that they would become a shell in Florida for 6 to 9 months. I posted this publicly on my Facebook, and they said they would find me, and then before September, the Merc train would catch up with me. So they were going to stay in Florida, but they knew where I was at because they mentioned me. They said William, aliens, music. So they knew who I was, but they just weren't able to find me because as soon as I got the email from Russia, I sent it to the FBI. And as soon as I sent it to the FBI, my GPS got scrambled. And for 3 years, my GPS never worked. So I never used my phone GPS to go anywhere. So I always had to have a regular Garmin GPS. It was so crazy.
Okay, so The Turks are after you on information that the Russians and China and the Chinese government got on you because you had found aliens in water and through light source. Am I correct on this?
It is not only the aliens in water and light. We're talking about a new frequency. We are discussing technology, and this technology relies on a new frequency which is able to handle 1,000 gigabytes a second, which is able to handle more load than any information that we're even able to send right now. And by discovering the information in this frequency, they're intimidated. It seems like this. I have discovered the frequency that other civilizations in our galaxy or throughout the universe are sending information saying, hey, we're here. Can you hear us? I said, yes, I can hear you. But then when it comes to our government, they're like, no one can hear them. Block them out. No one is allowed to know this information, and we will keep it secret as long as we can. In 1979, the U.S. Navy developed a retroreflector, which was able to take sunlight and take digital information and imprint that information into sunlight and project that light down to Earth to a receiving station, which was able to take that sunlight and transfer it into information. What I am telling you now is I have found information in sunlight. And that information is not from our government. That information is from another civilization. And I can prove that from the images that they have sent me. They are not human. They are somewhat human. There are some human, but majority of them are non-physical. They're not physical like we are. But majority of the information that I've received, I've came to the conclusion that we as humans on Earth are not physical, but we are somewhat here via our consciousness, which was sent here, and it just gets very confusing from there.
Now, when you met up with the aliens, did they take you?
They just showed me information. The information that I have learned, and they came very close, but the information that I've learned through my experiments, this is all scientific experiments. So I've been running this experiment for years, and the information I've came up with is this, is that we are here physically, but we are not here physically. We came here non-physically, and in doing so, this is where it gets confusing, and I haven't discussed this a lot. I have wrote it in articles, and in doing so, we were physical somewhere else. We signed up. We came down. We came down non-physically, and in order to transfer to Earth, you have to come via a soul that is energy. When sperm enters an egg, there is a flash of light. That flash of light is when I believe the soul enters the body. Now, take all that away. We come here in spirit. And when we're here, we live a physical life. But when we die, we have these experiences where we experience like an outer body experience, where we're hovering above, where we're below, and we're seeing people do, resuscitation, trying to bring us back to life. But do we really want to come back to life? Why are we here? And that is the question that I'm trying to answer through my research. And what I have discovered is this, is that we, as a spiritual being, has signed up to come to Earth Yes, we're here. But when we die, guess what? Our soul leaves our body. So guess what? That means one thing. We didn't start here. So if we know that our soul leaves our body at death, we are not from Earth. We are extraterrestrial. So where do we come from?
So you
That
think
is the
we're
question.
aliens?
I can't answer that question. I can only tell you this. At birth, there is a spark of light. At that light, in quantum physics, information can be transferred. So I could transfer your entire consciousness. At that spark of light, I could say, boom, there's your consciousness. So now you're a baby. And when you were grown, but you died, now you're back, and now you're a baby. And then from that, I can say this much. When you grow and you die and then you pass on, guess what? Your soul leaves your body. We know that extraterrestrial and paranormal activity, for many years there was a huge divide. So like people that are ghost hunting are different than people that are alien hunting. Well, guess what? It's all connected. Everything is connected. And once we realize the connection between everything, we'll see a more whole, and that's where it comes from, paranormal to extraterrestrial. And like I said, from your soul, we are here, but when we leave our body, we travel somewhere else, but we have no recollection, we have no memory of these movements because they're left blank. My goal is to understand why they're left blank and understand where we are going after life. And I can tell you this, by the research that I've done and the experiments that I've made, I have actually made contact with the other side. Now, I will tell you, I have found extraterrestrials. I found aliens that look like reptiles, but I found humans too. And I will say this much. I've also found halos and human beings. I found people that look just like me and you. I found people that are non-physical and physical. I found so many different aspects of species. And what I'm saying is it's all connected.
Earlier on, William, you had mentioned about the sperm and the eggs. Were you involved in any sort of experiments that led to any type of fertile process?
I have only wrote articles on what I know. And what I know is what I've learned. And I'm not going to school for quantum physics. I'm teaching myself. And what I have learned is this, is that you could take a photon of light and you could put information in that one single photon, and in 1 centimeter of sunlight there's over 100 million photons. So I could store over 100 billion gigabytes of information. I mean, I could send every movie that was ever made since creation on Earth to any galaxy that I want in less than a second via quantum entanglement. By entangling that photon with another photon from another light source, doesn't matter how far it is, I could send that information simultaneously, and that information can be received just as quick as you could snap your hand. And what people don't understand is there is other civilizations that are using this technology. They're able to send information. They're able to see us. We're able to see them. And by doing so, they're able to have a higher up from where we are, because every single time that I show people, hey, we made contact, guess what? No one cares. So I'm almost to the point to where, I mean, they've even visited me too. It's like I'm to the point to where I'm ready to give up. And they're so desperate that they're sending images of newer age images of the alien Paul from the movie Paul from like 2003. And then like even E.T., they're sending images of E.T. I just collected these images May 2nd. And it's like I don't even want to do the research anymore because people just don't care. And I don't care if they don't care. And aliens could come and land on the White House lawn, and I swear to God, people will still act like they don't exist. And that's what I don't understand. And I don't think they understand. I really think they're just as confused as we are, which is crazy.
I am just curious, getting back to what I asked you earlier, if you were a part of any experimentation there or anything like that. Do you believe you have any hybrid children or that you've met other alien women that you've had tests with?
All I know is the information that I know as far as technology-wise, communication-wise, is beyond what is made available to the public. I can tell you this right now. If you were to Google the visible light spectrum and see, are we publicly able to use the visible light spectrum? No, only the government. And like in radio waves, where you're sending radio waves out, we're only sending 1,000 megabytes a second. But in visible light spectrum, if I were to take all of this information and put it into the visible light spectrum, we could be sending 1,000 gigabytes a second. So I will tell you this much. The government knows exactly what I'm discussing right now. But I'll tell you this, the public doesn't know that information can be sent in the visible light spectrum. They just think radio waves. Well, radio waves, all information is sent via radio waves. No, that's not true. Information from radio waves is sent from your phone to a radio tower. From that radio tower, it's sent to fiber optics. Boom. Light. Visible light. And it's nothing but pulses of light, which is sent in binary, which is ones and zeros, which is bullshit because of the fact
I can't have you swearing, man. Can't have you swearing. We're on terrestrial radio, man.
Yeah, I apologize. But binary is ones and zeros. But we don't need ones and zeros when we could just send real-time information. And the problem is the only people that can send that information is the government, and they're not going to let you know that it's real. And I'm telling you that I found information in the visible light spectrum, and no one believes me. So I'm still here. So.
Well, I know you're still here, but when you were out there, that's what I'm trying to figure out. You know, I mean, because for many people who've never been that far out there, man, or never had the contact like you have, they're trying to figure out what's actually going on. You know, is it all about Whitley Strieber and what happened to him, or is it about, you know, trying to steal our DNA or our sperm or our ova for women, breaking in there and stealing some eggs? I mean, I mean, maybe you have the answers. Have they downloaded the answers in you?
They have only came to me in peace. They've only came to me and showed me things that were peaceful. When I was young, I was like 7 years old. I had a gremlin as a stuffed animal, and it was from the movie Gremlins. And
I remember those.
One time I asked them, I was like, and this is back 10 years after, I said, how can I trust you? How do I know that I can trust you? And they sent me an image of a gremlin, and they said, hey, you know, you can trust us. We know you. And when I was young, when I was like 7 years old, I remember there was a UFO that landed in my backyard. I walked out back. My cousin was staying at my house, and I went to their bedroom, and I held it shut. and I wouldn't let them out because I didn't want no one to follow me. And when I went outside, I met up with these 3 alien beings. And they were small. They were just like me. I was only like 8 years old. I was a young kid. And I walk out and I just meet up with them. And we just hung out. And we just walked around the backyard. And that's all I remember. And then a year later, the house that I was living in then would just light up white. The whole house would just randomly just flash white. And my dad said, "Oh, it's because you live on an Indian burial ground." But I never believed that. I knew it was because of the aliens, and we were on the highest land in all of the state of Florida. And there were signs, there are things that I've seen throughout my time, but nothing came to the fact that I made a discovery. I found information, and I found that information in the visible light spectrum. Now, if you were to Google information in the visible light spectrum, they will tell you straight up, yes, you can store information in the visible light spectrum. But when I go to scientists, top scientists, and I tell them, hey, I found this information in the visible light spectrum, and there are objects that are forming that shouldn't be there, they look at me like I'm crazy. And that's what I don't understand, and I'm not here to name names, but I have discussed this information with everyone from Stephen Bassett to Richard Dolan to Grant Cameron, and we could continue naming names. I have put this information out there for the past 5 years. And guess what? Nothing. So how does that make me feel as a human being to know that I have not only made contact, they have visited me, they came to me, and guess what? I'm being ignored completely by the disclosure community. It's very sad.
Hear you. I know what that's like.
It's very sad.
To the Stars Academy ignores me too, but that's okay. William, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. From bentlights.com, William Lawrence is with us tonight. Make sure you check out his website because we definitely want you to go look at his great information and photographs that are just highly strange. Sun versus water versus metal versus aliens. We'll continue to see why the UFO community is not taking his story seriously right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. We really do appreciate you taking the time. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Now, if you want to check out our free archives, they're on youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Ypsiloform. Ypsiloform is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. As well, do me the favor, follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Tonight we are talking with William Lawrence. His website is bentlights.com, where he's had some incredible and fascinating interaction with people and aliens and much more. As it's a hard story to understand because the UFO community is not really giving him the time of day, yet his evidence may seem a little bit different. So we're checking it on out. William, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Dave, for having me on. And, we're discussing not only the extraterrestrial activity, but we're discussing the connection between paranormal activity in the extraterrestrial realm. But not only are we discussing the paranormal in the extraterrestrial, we're discussing science and religion. And I don't want to get into details as far as religion goes, but I will say this much. Science and religion is connected because of the fact that our soul, which is created, can be transitioned, and that soul is nothing but quantum physics. And when it comes down to understanding consciousness, we can go to the fact that scientists cannot understand consciousness. They do not understand why we are conscious or how we are conscious or how we're able to be. But they are developing theories, and they're testing it with these little fruit flies and whatever they're testing it with. The problem is this. We were sent here to Earth for a reason. And once we understand that reason, we will develop and find a way to expand our consciousness. And by expanding our consciousness, we will realize we are not physical human beings. We were sent here to experience life as a physical human being, but we are non-physical. And by being non-physical, you realize that you're capable of doing whatever you want, whenever you want. When you dream, you are inside your own consciousness, and you're let go to do whatever you want to do or be whatever you want to be. But in reality, we are struck. We are held captive We're held captive by who we are physically, but we are not who we are physically. And I will tell you this much. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, green, blue, purple. It doesn't matter. If you're homosexual, non-homosexual, you are a human being, but when you leave this earth, and this is written in the Bible, and this is where it gets religious, and I try to stay out of religion, but I will tell you this much. When you leave your body, your soul leaves your body. Where does it go? That is the question I'm trying to answer. And by answering that question with having no bias, I'm not coming from any perspective. I'm only trying to show you scientifically how it is possible to leave your body and travel somewhere back. That's because you were never your body. You came here. You decided to come here. You chose to come here. You made a decision. You were like, okay, I'll go to Earth. All right, well, boom, you're here. Well, guess what? Now you're back. And what happens? When you leave your body, your soul leaves your body. And where does it go? Everyone wants to know where. I can tell you, I have made contact with where. I can't tell you where they're at in the universe. I can't tell you what dimension they're in, but I can assure you that I've made contact with something higher than the dimension that we are in. And I have seen things months or years before they've even happened to solidate the information that I've received. And the information that I've received from these beings, is hard to describe. And if I were to describe all the information that I've received from them, people would not understand it. So what I try to do is put it scientifically speaking. And through quantum physics and information in a photon, there is a way to send information. And that information can be held in light. And our soul is light. They even say in the Bible that God is light. And I will tell you this. I believe in God, but I believe in my own interpretation of God. And for someone to tell me that God is light, and I find information in light, and then I start seeing people in light, and those same religious scholars tell me that the information that I'm seeing is not real, when they even quoted that God is light, that's where it gets confusing. And you could understand the wall that I'm up against.
Okay, so why do you think people like Grant Cameron or Steve Bassett or Richard Dolan are ignoring your knowledge that you have figured out? Why do you think they're focusing on not bringing it up? Because they've, seemed to be pretty open to information in the past.
And that is a great question, Dave. And honestly, I couldn't tell you. And when I go, not only did I go to the disclosure community, I went to the scientific community and I said, hey, I found information in light. I found information in light. Well, guess what? Radio waves is a form of light. Information. The way we are speaking right now is being sent through radio waves. Could you imagine a little metal sticking up from your car antenna and being able to pick up audio? And now I'm coming and saying, hey, I found information in light. Well, it's not radio waves. It's the visible light spectrum. I found information in the visible light spectrum. Well, these astrophysicists and astronomers and quantum physicists are all saying like, oh, you're crazy. Don't do that. Don't even go down that road. when all reality, the U.S. Navy patented this information back in the 70s. So it's like, it's not new information. I can send you a text message via the visible light spectrum. As long as you had access to sunlight, I could put a satellite in space. I could put a retro reflector up there. I could digitally imprint my information, encode that into sunlight, reflect that sunlight down to Earth to a receiving station where you have another retro reflector where you're able to receive my message via text with nothing more than sunlight over a 80-mile radius. And now I'm telling you that I've found other information. I've found people trying to communicate using the same exact spectrum, which is off limits to the public. You are not allowed to use this spectrum. If you were to Google trying to use the visible light spectrum as a frequency, you're not allowed to use it. The only people that are allowed to use it is the government, and that is where the dilemma comes to. I have found information in the visible light spectrum. The only people able to use the visible light spectrum frequency, just like radio waves, is the United States government, Australian government, the Chinese government, the Russian government. All these governments use this frequency, but we are not allowed to use it. And I will tell you this much. You could download 1,000 full-length movies a second using the visible light spectrum, because the visible light spectrum can download over 1,000 gigabytes a second. That's enough to crash your computer and every single thing else in your household. We don't even have hard drives that can harness. You need your own network to harness that amount of information. Well, guess what? The government has that information. Well, if I found extraterrestrial communication in that spectrum, that only means one thing. The U.S. government, the Russian government, the Chinese government, they are all in contact with other civilizations in our universe. We are not alone. Point blank. We are not alone, but they are keeping us thinking that we are alone. And the reason, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. But I will tell you this much, they're afraid. They're afraid because of the fact that they know once we as a civilization know that there are other civilizations like ours, that will put them, these giant countries, in jeopardy. You know, that's why Turkey sent me death threats. That's why the Russians wanted me assassinated. You know, the Chinese, they wanted to know this information, you know, because they know that this will jeopardize them as a country. And if these civilizations were to come, which they can't because they don't have the technology, all they have is artificial drones. I mean, they can send drones, but they can't be here physically because it's too far away. We're talking the other side of the universe. But just the fact of knowing, that there are other civilizations will put our Earth in jeopardy because of the fact of religion. And religion is what binds us together. And once people realize, oh, well, I'm sorry, but your Allah God is not real, then people are going to act crazy. And that's why Muslim extremists tried to murder me in 2016.
So when these Muslim extremists came after you from Turkey,
I disappeared.
Where did you disappear to? Did the aliens help you out?
I think it was the FBI, but I can tell you that my GPS was scrambled for 3 years. It would say that I was in other states.
Interesting. Were you in
my
other
phone
states?
GPS? No, but I had over 4 different phones, and I could never use my Google Maps. So, like, every time I would pull up my Google Maps, it would say, oh, it was in Texas or California or Nevada or somewhere else. It would never say where I was at. And for 3 years, it happened like that. But then after 3 years, my phone started working with the maps. And I went through over 4 different phones and never did the GPS work. But that was because I reported the information to the FBI. But I don't think it was the FBI that helped me. Honestly, I think it was probably someone from overseas.
Well, I know a lot of people who in these situations have been helped out by the aliens, man.
I couldn't tell you if it was them or not, but I'll tell you this much. The information that I received and what I have realized from the information, the experiment, and the technology, the communicational part, or how about this, the avatar, or why are we here? Why are we here as human beings? We were sent here. So the information that I received is beyond, and people were angry about that, and they didn't like the information that I was putting out. And now we came to a time to where people don't even believe the information that I'm putting out. And that's all. That is what you call control of the population, where you brainwash the civilization of all of the world and you tell them this is the way things should be. It can't be any differently. But when someone comes to you and says, hey, this is not how things are a little different. They're not a lot different, but they're a little different. But when you look at that person that comes to you and says, hey, things are different, and you say, no, things aren't different. Things are the way they've always been. You're crazy for thinking things are different. And when you chastise them for thinking outside the box, that is where we lose our evolution of a civilization. That's where we become stagnant and we just stay stagnant and not grow as human beings or consciousness. And to understand that consciousness needs to evolve, but the only way for consciousness to evolve is to think differently and to understand that we are not what we think we are. We are much different. But for someone to come through and say, well, this is how things are, this is this, I'm not telling you how things are. I'm not giving you the answers. I'm only giving you a trail. I'm like leaving breadcrumbs saying, hey, follow this. This might bring you closer to where we are as human beings. And they're coming to us telling us that they're ready to communicate. The problem is this. The government will not allow it. And the government is using the frequency. The government, I can't stress this enough. Australian, Chinese, Russian, China, India, and the America, they are all using free space optical communication. They are all using the frequency these extraterrestrials are communicating on, and they're keeping it hidden from us to keep us in control.
William, I got to ask you a question from Nathan in our chat room on YouTube here. He is asking, have you published plans on how to make a thing communicate or to communicate this way? How do you do it?
They don't need you to communicate back. They can hear you. They have much higher technology than we have. As long as you can see a rainbow, you can communicate with these beings. If you can look into the sun, and I wouldn't suggest looking into the sun because it's bright, but I mean, as long as you're close to sunlight, you can communicate with other civilizations just by talking to them. And not only are you communicating with other civilizations, but you're communicating with people that have been here on Earth already. We are communicating with people that have lived here and have already passed away. And that's where it gets biblical. But as far as how do you know? I mean, you just need to understand. And by doing so, lights. when I do my experiment, I see things that are for me. But if others do the experiment, they're going to see things for them. Because the universe is so vast, it's huge. And everyone is unique in their own way. So by anyone doing the experiment, they're going to experience different things. They're going to see things that go to them and not me. And I've had people run the exact same experiment that I've ran, and they've ran it across the world, and they've been able to see things, reptiles, humans, other things, people. And what we need to understand is this, is the frequency. We're not looking for radio waves. We're looking for the visible light spectrum. And you know what's crazy about that is everyone is seeing a rainbow. Everyone is seeing a rainbow. And when you see a rainbow, it's so beautiful. And then sometimes you see a double rainbow and you're just so amazed. Like, wow, it's so beautiful. The colors, the lights. But little did we know, when you zoom in to those lights, how much information is in there. It's beyond our mind's comprehension.
William Lawrence is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We only got about a minute left here before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Jules is asking, how can they police, as in the government, police the visible light spectrum?
They hold it captive. They will not allow it for public use. If you were to literally Google it, I dare you to Google it. Google the visible light spectrum and how much spectrum is even available to the public. It is ridiculous how much the government controls. And they are able to control it. They're able to block it from use. And the visible light spectrum, like I said, can send 1,000 gigabytes a second. Now, the radio spectrum, which we are using tonight, can only send around 100 megabytes a second. So you do the math. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. Maybe talk to Elon Musk. He might be able to help you, but I will tell you this. The government has had this locked down since 1970.
And yet light and water refracting is free.
No, it's definitely free. And the way I've been able to do it is really pissing them off, because how simple I made it and how complicated they made it. And back in 1979, they had the same exact concept. They were sending information.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there. I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. William Lawrence continues on Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We're taking Sunday nights out of this world on Spaced Out Radio. This is Michael W. Hall, also known as the Paranormal Lawyer. Together, we're going to go on an exciting journey into the unknown. I'm going to bring you some of the best interviews in the paranormal and supernatural to start your new week off on a freaky note. So tune in to Spaced Out Sundays with me, Michael W. Hall, only on spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate you taking the time. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Yes, you can follow us on Twitter too, if you haven't already, at Spaced Out Radio for the show. My personal handle, at Dave Scott, SOR. Tonight we are talking about aliens, ET contact, and the experiments that have led William Lawrence to it. Bentlights.com is his website if you want to check it on out. Highly suggest you do. William, welcome back.
I would like Lisa Marie to call in right now and ask any questions that she feels that is necessary. The information that I am putting out. First off, we don't take callers. Okay. All
right. Second of all, chat room is free of people who have their own opinions. I may not agree with them because I'm the one, along with Corns, the booking guy, who sets the guests, and we're happy you're here. We're happy you're here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with you too, Dave, and I look forward to my hair being as long as your hair is.
It is good hair. It is totally good hair. I don't blame you for that. I really don't. All right, let's move on here. So the governments are not giving you the information to continue this, and you're trying to continue it and trying to make sure that you are getting your message out. Why do you feel that there is some sort of conspiracy against you personally?
Because it jeopardizes our national security.
How?
The fact that the amount of information being able to be sent and received. I mean, we're talking what we're sending right now, just having our conversation, is not even a gigabyte a second. But when you're able to send over 1,000 gigabytes a second, and you're able to entangle photons, and this is where it gets complicated. Photons are particles of light. In one photon, you could have 100 million photons in 1 centimeter of sunlight. Now, the messages that I'm receiving are over 3 inches long. So, I mean, you're looking at almost 1 million photons entangled. And a photon is a particle of light. Now, the scientific community has not been able to entangle more than 18 photons. So if you're able to entangle hundreds of millions of photons, that's not scientifically available to our scientists on Earth. So the only people that are able to do that is people not from Earth. And not only do the images that I'm able to collect evidence, not only is the evidence anomalies, they should not be there, but they all show up bilateral. And bilateral symmetry, what you have in symmetry is you have perfect symmetry and you have bilateral symmetry. We humans and every living species on Earth is bilateral. Now, with perfect symmetry, that is artificial. So in some biology, when you go all the way down to bacteria can be perfect symmetry because they're only single cell organisms. But when you're dealing with multiple cell organisms at a macroscopic level, you do not see bilateral symmetry. However, every single photograph or anomaly I have captured through my experiments has shown bilateral symmetry, not perfect symmetry, and has shown a passiveness and also intelligence. And there's no way to deny that. And now I have spoken with SETI Institute and One of the main guys from that is Seth Shostak. I literally spoke with him in 2015 about my discovery. And in doing so, I told him exactly what I was doing, how I was doing it, and this is what I found. He said I was crazy via phone and email. And I can show you the email to back up exactly what I'm saying in 2015. In 2016, he started, SETI Institute started Laser SETI, which uses a prism to bend light and project that light to a digital camera. So I reached out to the one people in this world that I thought would help me. And in doing so, they turned their back on me and then took exactly what I was doing and started using it for their own good, called Laser SETI. And then Elliot Gillum, who supposedly came up with the idea, when asked by Seth Shostak, how did you come up with the idea? He could not answer that question because of the fact that they stole the idea from me. So they started using my concept at SETI Institute without even giving me any credit whatsoever. And this is what baffles me the most, because I've not only made contact, now other people who are supposedly looking for contact are using my exact methods, and yet everyone in the disclosure community is continuing to dismiss my ideas and methods. That's where it gets confusing, Dave, and it's really difficult, man.
So
really
is it about trying to get your own credibility and respect from the community, or is it about solving answers?
It's about solving answers, and it's not only about solving answers. Like, these entities want to communicate with us. They have shown that through my images. Like, they have shown themselves. And there was a person who is the head person for MEDI International, which is messaging extraterrestrial intelligence, and his name is Douglas Valkoff. All right, so not only did I get in contact with SETI Institute, but then I contacted MEDI, and I said, hey, man, this is what I found. The exact same year that I discussed the information that I found with them, Douglas Valkoff came out and said, if we find any intelligent message from extraterrestrial civilization, it will look like a cosmic ink blot test. And all of my images look like an ink blot test. And then the same with Seth Shostak. He even said in 2015, September, he said, if we see anything, it would be if an intelligent civilization were to send us any information at all, they would send us pictures. They would send us images that we could relate to. And the one thing that I discovered was images that we could relate to. These extraterrestrials are showing themselves. And I have brought this to the scientific community. I have brought this to the disclosure community. And yet I am being ignored. And I'm just going to keep my cool, man. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I know it's upsetting to a lot of people that are like, hey, we've been looking for 30 years. We've been searching in the radio frequency for 30 years, and we have found nothing. And you search for one day in the visible light spectrum, and you found something. Well, I'll tell you this much. Every scientist has always had a bottle of water, and every scientist has always seen a rainbow. It's not my fault that they did not look at the clues and the signs that were right in front of them.
I got a question coming from Human Carl here in the chat room. He is asking, did you file patents for your discoveries?
The patents were already filed back in 1979 by the U.S. Navy. They patented the retro reflector, which was able to digitally imprint information into sunlight. And from that sunlight, they were able to project that sunlight down to Earth by a mirror. And then they would receive it at a receiving station on Earth. But by time the sunlight reaches Earth, it would spread out from like 12 to 15 mile radius. And they would have a receiving station, and whatever information that they encoded into the sunlight would be able to be sent down to Earth, and then from Earth they could transcribe it into another retro reflector on Earth, and the information is there. I mean, it's called the Free Space Optical Program, where if you were to Google DARPA information in a photon is a particle of light. That's one particle of light. And like I said before, in 1 centimeter, you have over 100 million particles of light. So that's 100 million photons in 1 centimeter of light. And my images, which are over an inch long, you're looking at over 1 million to almost 1 billion photons. The scientific capabilities do not exist on Earth to be able to entangle over 1 million photons. I think the most scientists can entangle is around 20 photons. And for me to be able to find coherent bilateral symmetry images, unexplained objects appearing in the visible light spectrum, which is over an inch long, so we're talking almost 1 billion photons, that technology does not exist on Earth.
All right, let's move on to Nick's question. He is asking, do you think, William, that you were purposely led to this stuff by an external entity of some kind?
I feel that they have been training me since I was a kid. And what we discussed earlier, there was a time when I was like 8 or 9, there was a ship that landed in my backyard. And I remember 3 entities appearing. They were little grays or little alien beings. But I walked out there and I greeted them. And I remember in the house that I was living in that it would always flash white. There was 2 times where my entire house would just flash white. And there was so much phenomena. And my dad always like, oh, it's just because we're living on an Indian burial ground. But remember what I said in the first hour. The paranormal is connected to the extraterrestrial. And the extraterrestrial is connected to the paranormal. So everything is connected. So what they want us to see is what we see. And what I felt then is what I feel now. And it took me years to realize this.
So where's that connection between the paranormal and UFOs/aliens?
We are them. We are the aliens. We are extraterrestrial. For example, when we pass away, when we die, and we are no longer living, we leave our body. And when we leave our body, we become extraterrestrial. And where does that body go? Well, that body leaves via the soul. And what I have discovered through my research and all of this, the physics, the quantum physics, macroscopic, everything, what I have discovered is this, is that it is possible for you to exist here on Earth and exist in another realm simultaneously via quantum physics, because of the fact that with quantum entanglement, one particle could be in one place and another particle could be on the other side of the universe. But those 2 particles can communicate. And what I found is when we are here on Earth, we are existing in a physical realm, but we chose to come here. And when we die, our soul leaves our body and it travels back. That is what I don't have an answer for. But I can tell you this. We know that our soul leaves our body when we pass away. and it travels somewhere else. It goes back. But back where? Is it in another dimension? Is it in another universe? Is it in another galaxy? You know, all these questions run through my mind. I can come up with speculations where I can say it's like an avatar. If you're playing a video game where you want to be, Red Dead Redemption, you want to be John Marston or Arthur. You could play a video game and become an avatar, but when you die, you can relive and come back and come back and come back. But when you die, and you go back to where you started from. The problem is we're not allowed to see where we started from. And I can tell you this, they want us to know. We are at a point in human civilization where they want us to know where we started from, because they feel that we are not going to continue to evolve unless we have some type of how do you say it when someone, I don't understand how to say it, but they need us to understand the fundamentals of what we are as human beings. And we are not who we are, but I have no proof of that. But I can tell you this. It's coming a time to where we are able to communicate and we are able to send messages. And if you were to develop the technology that I have discussed tonight, we will be able to communicate with life after life. We'll be able to communicate with people that have left Earth. We'll be able to communicate with people, our loved ones who have just passed away. We'll be able to communicate with people who have passed away thousands of years ago. As long as you have the information and the computer hard drives to take in the information, we'll be able to talk to people. And then from doing so, we'll be able to rewrite our entire history of humankind. And that is what they are afraid of, because they do not want us to know the truth. And the truth is we have, as human beings, been held captive since we've been here. And they will keep us that way unless we know the truth.
Well, why not just communicate in an easier way rather than through light? I mean, people have had verbal communication, telepathic communication, sign language, downloads. Why take this route?
How do you show evidence of teleportation? Or how about this? How do you show evidence of a download? How do you show physical evidence? Dave?
I'm thinking about that.
How do you show physical evidence of information that you receive? And I have wrote articles about this. It's called mind manipulation, and the CIA has been using it since the 1950s. All right? And listen, it's not that I'm here to tell you that every information that you receive in a dream or every information that you think is a download is real or not real or this or that, but I'm just going to come and tell you straight up. All right?
Straight up.
We don't know if that is real or put there by a government organization, because they have the technology to input information into your brain. Now, this is where it comes for evidence. In order to find the truth, and I'm not discarding psychics or any information that people have been given, and this is why it's so difficult for me, because I'm not like other people in the disclosure community. I'm not going to come here and tell you, oh, well, I've seen this or I've seen that. Or, I'm going to come here and I'm going to tell you the facts. All right? And the facts is this. I've seen things that don't exist on Earth. And they've shown themselves to me. And I've documented it on camera. I've showed physical evidence of what I've seen And from that, I have created theories from what I've physically documented. And from the physical documentation, I'm able to create these theories that are more closer to reality than anything that's ever been said or done before. And there are many people that are going to say this. They're, oh, well, this and that. But they can say what they want to say. But the evidence, a picture says 1,000 words, Dave. And if you take a picture, like, for example, and this is a good example, Dave, and I'm glad I thought of this just now. If you were to send me into a rainforest and you gave me one camera and I went into that rainforest and you said, well, there's a tribe that may live in here, but we don't know if it lives in there. Here's a camera. You go in there. And I go into that rainforest. And I come out of that rainforest a month later, and I show you the images that I took while I was in that rainforest, and it shows people, a whole tribe of people. Are you going to deny that those people exist? Are you going to say, well, he went in there with a camera, and he came out with images of these people, so they must exist? That is the exact same concept from what I'm going through. I have found a new form of photography where I'm going into a rainforest, which is a galaxy, and no one's ever been in that rainforest or galaxy, and I'm taking images of people that no one's even heard or seen before, and I'm coming back saying, hey, you know what? They're there, and they want to be seen. But do we really want to know that they want to be seen, or are we going to continue to ignore them? And that's the way it works.
We've only got about 30 seconds here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. William Lawrence is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I think in the next half hour, what we need to do is we need to get into the communication aspect. How can people do this? Because I believe you can teach people to do this. Can you not?
I could teach anyone. I've had people do it. I've had people outside of Saudi Arabia and Oman. I've had people in England and Texas and in New York City. Everywhere around, people have been able to duplicate the experiment.
Awesome. Well, let's check it on out. We'll get more information on that when we come back from our break with our guest tonight, William Lawrence from bentlights.com. We only have him for another 30 minutes on the show. We'll take some of your questions as well. Then we'll get to the SOR Newswire and the thought of the day of a packed and jammed Hour 3 coming up next on the Mighty SOR.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the story you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hey Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together, we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend woo! So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thor, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, and it is Ypsiloform. Ypsiloform is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. And also, follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show, and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. For the final time tonight, we introduce from bentlights.com, William Lawrence, and we are talking about light and how we can communicate with extraterrestrials or the paranormal on the other side. William, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for having me on. And just for your listeners alone, we got to remember that light, information and light is nothing more. Radio is a form of light. When we send information via radio waves, radio is a form of light, is electromagnetic spectrum. Now, when we send information via the visible light spectrum, it's just a little bit different, but it's very similar. However, the radio spectrum is sending over 100 megabytes a second, when the visible light spectrum is sending over 1 gigabyte a second to 1,000 gigabytes a second. So when we discuss information and light, it's no different than what we're already used to. But when you bring it to the public and they say, oh, how did you find information in a rainbow? Well, that is light. That's the electromagnetic spectrum, which is made up of the visible light spectrum, which is made up of UV and electromagnetic waves, and all information is processed via light. And if you were to, let's just picture this. I mean, imagine thinking like, oh, I'm going to send this information via light. Me and you are talking right now, and we're going to play some music later, but we're going to send it via light. But you're going to pick up that light via a metal rod sticking up from your house. And from that metal rod, you're going to be able to pick up our light, which is going to be sent to you, and you're going to be able to hear us talk. That sounds crazy. I mean, if even now, just thinking about that, it doesn't even make sense. I mean, I understand Bluetooth, which is sent via radio waves. Bluetooth is sent via radio waves. But imagine, just regular radio waves. So what we are discussing tonight is not radio waves. We're discussing visible light. So this is light that you can see. Radio waves you can't see. They're invisible. When you have your Wi-Fi at home and it's working and it's running all of your electronics, guess what? It is sending out radio waves. And that is a form of light. But you can't see it because it's invisible. And it's only running around 100 megabytes a second to 280 megabytes a second. Now, if you were to be running visible light, which the U.S. military is using, you could be running 1,000 gigabytes a second, but that light is visible. So you got to keep it covered. So you could use infrared, which is almost invisible. That's what your remote uses to communicate with your television to turn the volume and TV up. That's infrared. That's like infrared light. It's hardly visible, and you could probably push at least 600 gigabytes a second. But what we are discussing is the information that I found. And the information I discovered is not information from Earth, and I discovered it in the visible light spectrum, which has been used by the U.S. Navy for the last 30 years. So if people want to understand my research and understand where I'm coming from and tell you, everyone is looking for that. SETI Institute called it a, I don't even know. But whenever they said they found that information, it was their aha moment. But I'm just telling you this. I discovered messages, information that should not exist. And we don't even have the technology to put that information where I found it. For example, if you were to Google coherent images in light, you're not going to see it, because it doesn't exist unless it's created by a computer algorithm. But I can assure you, I'm not using a computer algorithm to create the images that I'm processing through my experiments. I am running an experiment using visible light spectrum, water, and metal, and I'm finding people that should not be there.
So what if people say that you are just seeing pareidolia?
That is a great question. And as far as pareidolia, if you were to look at a rock and that rock had like a facial expression, that rock, 99.9% is not going to be bilateral. And when I say bilateral, which I discussed in the first hour, that's not perfect symmetry, but it's bilateral symmetry. We as human beings have bilateral symmetry, so we have a left side and we have a right side. And you could find this with objects on Earth, or if you were to look at the moon and see these big craters or rock formations, and people see faces on the moon, or faces in the clouds, or faces in trees. If you were to take those faces and you look at them, you have to classify them. And you got to understand, first they're an object. They're a physical object. So if you find a face in a tree, well, it's the leaves forming the face. Or if you find a face in the rock, it's a rock forming the face. Or if you find a face in the cloud, it's a cloud forming the face. However, if you find a face in the visible light spectrum, only in the spectrum, which is literally electromagnetic waves all formed into colors, there you have to stop and second guess yourself. Like, okay, what is this? Is this pareidolia? Okay, yeah, let's go down that road and find out if it's pareidolia. All right, first question. Is it bilateral? Yes, it is bilateral symmetry. Now, with pareidolia, you find a majority of pareidolia claims are perfect symmetry, where they look like a face. But in order to find bilateral symmetry, if you were to Google bilateral symmetry, you will find out that the only way to provide bilateral symmetry is to have intelligent design. There you go. That is it. That's a smoking gun right there. In order to have bilateral symmetry, you have to have intelligent design. And guess what? Every single image that I have taken that has shown anomalies, unexplained objects appearing, has shown bilateral symmetry since 2015. For 5 years, I have done nothing but experiments, and every single experiment has shown bilateral symmetry. Not perfect symmetry, bilateral. And bilateral is more perfect than perfect, because if you have perfect symmetry, then that means you edited it and cropped it out to make it look like something. I'm not cropping shit. I apologize.
Yeah,
I'm not cropping
that's
nothing.
twice.
I know. I apologize. I'm not editing nothing. Everything is legit. Like, everything that I put online is real. There is no editing, no photo processing, no nothing. And just to be where I'm at, I mean, it's very difficult.
Well, you're causing me some editing now. I'm just teasing. Anyways, William, I got to ask you, okay, with the pareidolia aspect that people are questioning, what is it that you are seeing? What is it that they are communicating? What's the message?
The message is simple. They're only trying to send images of themselves. So they have shown themselves. They have shown non-physical. They have shown physical. We have seen different species. So far, I've cataloged over 8 different species. I found non-physical human beings. I found physical human beings. I found over 4 different reptile species. And I found other species as well. And these are all different species of I don't know. I mean, they live in the world. Not our world, but they live in other civilizations. But there are some that look like us and some that don't. And there are a few that look very different than us. And there are some that look like us. And I can't really speak on their behalf because I don't understand where they're coming from. The only thing they show me is images. So I can see them, but I can't tell you how they feel. But I know that they feel that they need us to change, and they need us to understand them. And honestly, I feel once we understand them, we will have a whole new demeanor as for how we are here on Earth, which a lot of people think differently than once they're told, you know, hey, you know, this, what you think you know is different than what really is. And that's where it gets complicated. And that's why we had the contracts back in 2016 from Turkey to murder me, because there are religious extremists that do not want to know this information. And the only information I'm trying to put out right now is the information that is real, the information that is sent from them to us to tell us what is real and what is not real. And what is real and what is not real is it's not like there's no religion, but there is a religion. But it's not what people think it is.
All right, let's see if we can get to a question from our audience here. And let me just scroll here because I I know there is one coming up here. All right, Greco is wondering, how can I use light radio waves to communicate?
It's not light. It's not radio waves. I mean, it's visible light. If you were to go to my website, if you were to look at how to make contact, one of the articles will literally tell you exactly how to do exactly what I did. Like, I went public as soon as I made the discovery. And the reason for that is for my own protection, because I didn't want to die.
That would do it.
Well, no. I mean, I got death threats from
I know.
Target. I didn't want to die. So everything that I come up with, if I were to find something tomorrow, is going to be online tomorrow. Because everything I post live. When I got sent death threats from Russia, guess what? I went public the exact same day. Like, I posted that shit on Facebook. And guess what?
Time out, Bud. I got to let you go. That's 3 times you've sworn on the show. I can't have that. Okay? Honestly. I can't have that, man. I gotta, I've got to play by the FCC rules and the CRTC rules here, and I kind of have to. I gave you 2 strikes. That's the 3rd. I apologize, my friend, but I got to let you go. Thank you for being a guest on Spaced Out Radio. Bentlights.com is his website, and I'm sorry, I just can't. There are certain things I can tolerate, and there are certain things I can't. And when I got to play by the rules of the FCC and the CRTC up here in Canada, I can't keep having somebody swear. So I had to cut that. I've never really done that before. Kind of new territory. And that's all I can do. I apologize to you guys for that, but, sometimes people let things slip. Sometimes they let people's things slip. But he's not the one who has to pay the price just in case. I do. My show does. So I'm not happy about that. I've never had to do that before. But I warned him twice. And, that's that. Yeah, that's not cool. I'm already getting messages from one of my radio station owners. So, what do you do? It's up to you. Oh, Dave has a delay button. I have a delay button. Okay? It's just the way our system is set up with everybody grabbing our stuff here through our Spreaker format, the delay button doesn't work properly. So I apologize to our station owners for that. That is completely my fault. And yeah. Yeah. Live radio at its best right here. Live radio at its best. So, it is what it is. And the comment that he just left me on my Facebook is not very polite. Not very polite, but that's okay. Okay, I don't need private messages right now, everybody. All right, because now my Facebook is lighting up. And thank you to Chuck at KZFX, okay, for understanding and saying that's a good move to drop them off. That's what I got to play by. That's the danger of what we do with live radio. Now, imagine if we took callers. Look, William has a good point. I think he's a brilliant researcher and everything like that. I do. But tonight wasn't his night. So thank you for understanding. And nothing I can do. I'm just going to babble here for like 3 minutes. If anybody wants to come over and help me mow my lawn this weekend, I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate that. By the way, all guests are properly noted previous to coming on the show that we don't allow swearing. They get an email from us to confirm their presence on Spaced Out Radio, and it explicitly says that there is no swearing allowed due to FCC and CRTC regulations. CRTC is the Canadian Radio, Television, and Communications. And so, unfortunately, sometimes people forget. Hey, you know what? It slips out every now and again. I'm not going to lie. I've had it happen by myself. But, once is on me, second is on him, third is game over. That's all I can do. It's too bad. We were having a great time and a great conversation. Great time and great conversation. But we have to have standards that we got to live up to. And had to pull the trigger. So, that's pretty good. That's a first. That is a first. But I feel bad. I do. I feel bad. But got to control the game. Nothing you can do. Except move on. Game over. Thank you for understanding. So for people who are looking at me on YouTube right now, yes, I did shave my goatee. I'm going back to full beard. It's just much more compliant with what I want to do. Yeah, we're going to get to the thought of the day coming up here. We're going to get to the SOR Newswire because I know Captain Shirk had really, really worked hard on the news for tonight. So that is pretty awesome. That is pretty cool. We're going to have a fun time. We got another 30 minutes here to have some fun on Spaced Out Radio. So that's what we are going to get to here momentarily. We're going to go to break here in a couple of seconds. Get ready for the news. Maybe stretch. Have a sip of orange juice because that's what I'm on tonight, the orange juice. And then we bring you the news and the thought of the day. Here we go.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Need that weekend supernatural fix? Look no further than Spaced Out Saturday right here at spacedoutradio.com. I'm Stacey Edwards.
And I'm John Edwards. Each Saturday night, Stacey and I are going to bring you the best in paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, and we're going there.
It's all about the experience and to share the knowledge with all of you.
So tune us in every Saturday night on Spaced Out Saturdays, starting at 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. And, of course, follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio for the show and my personal handle at Dave Scott SOR. Speaking of the news, let's do this thing. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, and the wacky, and sometimes the downright dumb. Okay, like, if you want to be upset, this is something to get upset about. One of Uganda's best-known mountain gorillas, Rafiki, has been murdered. 4 men have been arrested, and they now face a life sentence and a fine of $5.4 million if found guilty for killing an endangered species. Investigations showed that Rafiki was killed by a sharp object that penetrated his internal organs. There are just over 1,000 mountain gorillas in existence, and the Uganda Wildlife Authority described Rafiki's death as a very big blow. The silverback, believed to be around 25 years old when he died in the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, was the leader of a group of 17 mountain gorillas. This group was described as habituated, meaning that its members were used to human contact. The death of Rafiki leaves the group unstable, and there is possibility that it could disintegrate. It has no leadership at this time, and it could be taken over by a wild silverback. If that happened, the group would not want to come in contact with humans, which ultimately could affect tourism. The mountain gorillas are a popular draw for visitors to the country, and the UWA relies on the tourists for revenue. Rafiki himself was very popular with people who had come to the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. He went missing on June 1st, and his body was discovered by a search party the following day. A UWA team tracked a suspect to a nearby village where he was found with hunting equipment. He admitted that he and 3 others had been hunting smaller animals in the park and that he killed Rafiki in self-defense when he was attacked. The 4 men are expected to be charged under the wildlife protection law that was passed last year. The mountain gorilla species is restricted to protected areas in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, and Uganda. They can be found in Uganda's Bwindi Impenetrable National Park and a network of parks in the Virunga Massif range of mountains, which straddle and borders the 3 countries. Some people just don't get it. Honestly, some people just do not get it. All right? Here's another stupid one. An argument over a man encouraging his dog to poo has led to a deadly shooting. The incident took place earlier this week at Coors Field, or near it, where the Colorado Rockies play. Police said the victim of the shooting were 21-year-old Isabella Thalas and her boyfriend Darian Simon. 21-year-old Isabella was killed. Simon was wounded. Police charged Michael Close with the shooting. Oh, this poor, beautiful girl. According to police, the argument began when Close, from his apartment, heard Simon encouraging the dog to go to the bathroom, citing the probable cause statement. According to the media, Simon told police that Close yelled, "Are you going to train your dog or just yell at it?" Simon told the police that he tried to ignore Close, but that Close proceeded to shoot at them. In summary, the suspect got into a verbal altercation over dog poo, with the victims related to the victims telling the dog to do its business. Close was accused of firing the shots from inside the apartment. Anna Thalas posted a picture of her daughter on Facebook. "Today we lost a daughter, sister, granddaughter, niece, and friend." I mean, what a beautiful soul. Anybody who passes away over stupidity like this, it's horrible. Horrible. We got to think better, people. We got to think better. Now, let's pump this up a little bit because this is good news. With a little ingenuity, a man can move a house. Take it from Bruce Noksana, a man from Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. Say that fast 5 times. Tuktoyaktuk. Well, he rescued his sinking cabin with the help of some friends, some logs, and a small fleet of snowmobiles, even though there's no snow. Just took a few minutes to move it, says Noksana. Noksana built his cabin by Husky Lakes, a series of 5 interconnecting lakes that span about 150 kilometers to the southeast of Tuktoyaktuk, more than 2 decades ago. His cabin was 30 feet back from the lake at the time, but over the last few years, thawing permafrost and shoreline erosion have pulled the water closer and closer. This was the time to move it. This year, he said. He had already built some skids out of timber and plastic pipe, so he rallied some friends and 5 skidoos to help him haul the cabin further inland. They laid down a bunch of logs, jacked up the house onto skids, and rigged up the skidoos with a few lines of 2-inch rope. At first, said Noksana, we budgeted about 2 feet, but with the help of 2 more machines, they were ripping. We were really surprised when the house took off. He guesses the cabin weighs between 10 and 15,000 pounds. It's a pretty heavy home, adding that the only thing he took out of it was the stuff that he thought might fall down during the move. They were able to drag the cabin about 50 feet. They had a lot of fun. Still, he conceded that it would have been easier to pull in the fall when the tundra is more frozen. Noksana says he uses his cabin for fishing and hunting. He hopes he never has to move it again, but says we'll see in 20 years. Annual festival that commemorates a local legend in Western Virginia has now been postponed due to coronavirus. If the Mothman Festival, honoring the red-eyed creature sightings in Point Pleasant, was supposed to be held in September, it would have been subpar and lackluster due to the fact that it's been built up over the last 18 years. So organizers for the event have made the bad decision of canceling it. They made it on Thursday. The festival has been moved to September 2021. Admission to the event in downtown Point Pleasant is free to the public and features live music and cosplay. Visitors have to pay a fee to see the Mothman Museum and for some attractions according to the festival. Here's another awesome story. Activists in China have released a pangolin into the wild to celebrate new protections for the armadillo-like animal whose numbers in the country have dropped to near extinction levels. Volunteers had rescued and rehabilitated the pangolin named Li Jin after it was found by a fisherman in the eastern Chinese province of Zhejiang. Yeah, this is a good start, but it's not good enough, said Zhu Jingfeng, Secretary General of the China Biodiversity Conservation and Green Development Fund, the group behind the lone pangolin's release. Just last year, authorities arrested 18 smugglers and confiscated 23.1 tons of pangolin scales sourced from an estimated 50,000 creatures. After the volunteers unlocked the transport crate, the foot-long pangolin crawled onto the lush forest floor, and it just quietly disappeared on its pink little paws. We will release a lot more soon, said Zhu, who vowed to free all pangolins in captivity in China. The U.S.-based group, say Pangolin, said China's granting of top-level protected status earlier this month was a massive win for pangolins after years of weak enforcement of existing restrictions. Pangolin scales are an ingredient in traditional Chinese medicine, and its meat is considered a delicacy by some. Environmental groups say that poachers have regularly circumvented the original regulations to sell illegally hunted pangolin scales and meat often sourced from Africa and Southeast Asia. Residents of a Pennsylvania neighborhood said a large black pig has been spotted wandering through the area and rooting through gardens, but no one knows where the portly porker came from. Marcia Tomei was the first resident of the Spring Street area in Yukon to report the sighting of the big pig earlier this week. She says, "I hurried up and ran back into the house because I thought it was a small bear. Looking at the picture, I can see why." Yeah, so instead of calling the media or the police, she calls the media and goes on Facebook. Tomei managed to capture photos, of course she did, of the apparent escaped pig before it wandered away from the area. Neighbors said the pig has made repeated appearances in the ensuing days, but no one has come forward to claim the swine. Tomei said she suspects the pig may have been someone's pet due to its friendly demeanor. It was friendly and wanted to be around people. So why not invite it in? Have some dinner. Give it some fruit and vegetables. Maybe a little bacon. No? Well, this might be one of those stories that we classify in the dumb category. The walk car. Have you seen this? It's a stand-on electric-powered scooter that looks like a laptop with 4 wheels attached. Back in 2015, when Coco Motors first debuted its intriguing car alternative, after 5 years of promises and teases, it looks like the walk car is now available for sale. Guess how much for this thing? $1,800. Yeah. Unlike an electric scooter that puts all of the acceleration and braking controls on the handlebars, the walk car works more like a 2-wheeled hoverboard. Yeah, that were all the rage a while ago, minus the balancing part, and hopefully the terrifying random fires. Riders accelerate, brake, and steer by shifting their body weight and back and side to side while riding on the walk car. So basically, if you have bad knees or horrible balance, it's not for you. Save yourself the $1,800. Weighing in at 6.4 pounds or 2.9 kilograms, the walk car can hit speeds of 10 kilometers an hour or 6.2 miles per hour in normal mode and up to 10 miles per hour or 16 kilometers an hour in its sport fashion mode, which understandably reduces its range from 4.3 miles down to about 3.1. However, according to Coco Motors' website, all testing was done with a rider who weighed 132 pounds. 132. Who the hell is 132 pounds these days? Look, I'm not a portly porker here myself. Okay? However, I haven't seen the lower side of 200 pounds since my hockey playing days, and that was before I bulked up. Yes, old Davey used to lift a few weights. Long time ago. Anyways, the testing was done with a rider who weighed 132 pounds. The company doesn't specify what the weight limit is for the car or the walk car is, but anyone heavier than the test rider probably should expect to see range reduced. In other words, don't buy one unless you are as thin as Iggy Pop. Forget wiretapping. Researchers have developed a new way for spies to eavesdrop on targets using light bulbs. The technique is called lamp phone and was developed by researchers at Israel's Ben-Gurion University of Negev and the Weizmann Institute of Science. It uses a special sensor to analyze a hanging light bulb's frequency response to sound through fluctuations in air pressure that cause vibrations. Using lamp phone, attackers can recover speech and sounds from an individual in another location. The tactic first reported by Wired, is said to be the only requiring a laptop, a telescope, and an electro-optical sensor to carry out. Unlike other spying methods, researchers note that lamp phone attacks can be carried out in real time and cannot be detected by individuals who are targeted. There are no bugs they need to be planted in the room, for example. It is so accurate that the results can be even accurately transcribed by Google Speech or recognized by Shazam. In a test run of technology, Shazam was able to identify the song Clocks by Coldplay. Well, obviously, you know this thing has bad taste in music, and that was playing in a room 25 meters away, so the light bulb probably shattered. Anyways, researchers were also able to recover President Trump saying, "We will make America great again," which was played over speakers and accurately transcribed by Google Text. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Let's spy on each other a little bit more. That's what we need right now. More spying. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as followed. If you were offered to fly an alien spacecraft, where would you go and why? For my response, go to Goof on Radio's Roundtable. You'll hear it there. Bart, I would love to go to that place where Wonder Woman is from and make sweet love to all the Amazon ladies there. Oh, you sicko, Bart. You sicko. Marty, I'd take it to wherever that alien bar in Star Wars is from and have a round of drinks with all the alien species there. That sounds fun. Science Bob, I would go to Mars, look around Cydonia, then go to Enceladus, Europa, and Titan, and look into the oceans, and then asked to visit the closest planet with an intelligent life form and observe it and be shown its location. I think Bob wants to give them some freedom. Shanna, ooh, it's happening for sure. Female saucer pilot right here. I will be stopping by Venus first because they like dogs. Jules, Catalina Island because my little bot friend needs love. He retweets everything, kind of needy like that. Peanut Butter Roll says, yes, I would fly an alien spacecraft. Why? Because it would be cool AF. Oh, yes, it would. Antisocial Moth, Andromeda Galaxy, reason? To get away from humans and their problems. Mike in Manitoba, anywhere else but here, 2020. Charuz, if you were offered to fly an alien craft, where would you go? It's pulling space-time. I try to go back in time to create a rift. Observe the new timeline. If it don't like it, try another one. Why not? Go until the desired outcome is reached. At the end, look back and watch chaos you created. Very nice. Karen, probably straight into the ground. I can't even drive a new car with all the complicated things. I once thought I was getting sick, running a fever, when I inadvertently turned on a seat warmer. Oh, isn't that nice? Spike, so many places. Why? Because I can. Arthur, I'd go to my most skeptic friend's house. There's this one really obnoxious friend that ridicules this a lot. Give him a good shake-up. And then when he popped into the group chat telling people he saw it, everyone would believe him because he's that much of an idiot about this. And that's when I could say to him, I think you just saw a bird, bro. Chicky, anywhere off this current planet. Beachcomber, I'd really have to have a good look around our solar system and check out what is out there, then keep moving out farther. Chill. I would want to look around our solar system and see all the planets that I learned about in school. I would also stop by the moon to see what is all about it there. Then I would venture out further and see what else was out there, and maybe find that Tesla that is flying around. Wave it. I'd ask if they have a planet available like Pandora in the movie Avatar or Ego in Marvel's Avengers because it looks so beautiful. James? Oh, James Rigney. Oh, we better give you a follow. Yeah. Look up James Rigney if you want to know. He's the man behind the Wilson documents, by the way. Where do I want to take that spaceship, he says? The Colonel says the White House lawn. Good for you. Yeah, he got a follow from us. He definitely got a follow from us on that. Okay, let's go over to Facebook. Lou wants to go to Disneyland. Jeremy wants to explore our galaxy because it probably take too much time to travel out to the Milky Way. Dorothy, I would first ask if they were going to bring me back. I would tell them that I would like to take a ride to their home planet to see what it's like, and then I want to come home. Kevin, Dollar General on a beer run. Good job, Kevin Day. Steven, I want to go to Area 51. Filth, Neptune, it's my favorite planet. Captain Shirk, I would ask the owners of the craft if they know any place outside Earth that has a history of peace, harmony, plenty, and welcome strangers. If yes, I would get directions and fly there. If not, I would decline the offer to fly and stay where I am. I'm happy here and have no need to travel someplace that isn't better. Venus, I would go see my love and favorite skeptic, William Pullen, so I could show him the data. Oh, you saucy girl. Caden, I would go to their home planet or wherever they live because who wouldn't want to visit? Kevin, Uranus, it needs to be remodeled. Marilyn, I would come see you and let you drive, Dave. Okay, let's do this. Dave, Pleiadian Star Group heading for home. Tom, the dark side of the moon. Saturn for Debbie. Jerry wants to go to Alpha Centauri. Got to go find the Robinsons. Barry, first to the moon to see what structures are really there and who they belong to. Then to Mars to determine the same thing. Dandy. Oh, Dandy is Dandy in Australia. I would go to the most advanced planet in the Orion constellation. My dear, I am going with you. That's one place I want to go, and that's where we're going to end it. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Day, Captain Shirk for the news, and to William Lawrence for coming on talking about bent lights. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Special thanks to everybody listening in our chat rooms on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club at our website, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. All you snarkers and snarkettes were beautiful tonight. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your night with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Remember, everybody, the Woo train may be parked for the night, but soon we will roll again. Your seats are always available. There's always room for more, and your tickets never expire. Bring a friend. Bring some family. Bring your pet pooch, or even your Astro kitten. We accept everyone, and everyone's loved around here. See you later. Good night.